Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
There are two ways for creating the record, that is, manage out of page structure and import foundation data. Today we will be seeing how the objects has been migrated. There are certain organization structures which has been migrated from FO, that is foundation object, to a new object that is called as a metadata framework. It is called as a metadata framework or the MDF object or the generic object. These are the names which is being called. Under these MF objects, we have the list of objects that has been migrated, most importantly the legal entity, business unit, division, department position, job classification. These are some important organization structure which has been migrated to the MDF. Now, when it has been already migrated to MDF, these objects are nowhere been available in the XML also. Because from the XML also it has been moved out, where these objects were defined. They have been moved out from two places, where it is created and where it is defined from the XML, that is corporate data model. There also it is not available. And for creating the record that is earlier with manage out of a structure, from there also it has been removed. And when it has been created, moved into a new object. They also created a configuration tool in the front end that is known as a managed data. The managed data is one way of creating and maintaining all MDF objects. We can able to see what are the objects, records which we have created or which has been maintained. For creating the records or maintaining the records, we are using the managed data. For bulk records, we are using import-export data for import for MDF objects. Defining the objects. Now it is not associated with XML. It is linked with the new object, a new configuration tool that is known as a configured object definition. When we start with defining that object for the MDF, we will come to the configured object definition in the front end and we will discuss in detail. At this point of time, we are only discussing how for the creation of the records. Yesterday we have completed FO, that is foundation. Today we will be planning to complete the MDF also. For creating the records, there are two methods, that is managed data and import-export data. Any questions here? I'm going into the system. I hope I shifted my screen. Is it visible? I'm going into the home page. The configuration tool which I'm using is manage data. I go to manage data. After clicking on manage data, I can see the search options, number of records, and if you want to go and create a new one. If we go and select search option, there are a lot of standard as well as MDF objects will be there. We can able to see, most importantly, the organization structure. From an organization structure point of view, we have legal entity. when I go into a legal entity. And if I want to take any legal entity, because if I'm taking a legal entity which I have created, when you go and see the legal entity, you can see this legal entity is a MDF object. And this is the record for that particular MDF object which you are seeing here. That is one thing. Under this legal entity, you can see these are the standard fields. What are the fields? Are there? Start date, we have a code. We have a name, description, status, standard, weekly hours, currency. We have official language, country. All these are the standard fields. Are there? Earlier, this object and the fields were associated with the XML before migration. After migration. Now these fields are maintained in configure object definition for all the objects legal entity. If you're taking legal entity, if you're taking for business unit division department, these every objects, it will be associated with the configure object definition. And this tool is also available in the front end. There is nothing for the MDF where we need to go into the provisioning. Everything is available in the front end only in term of foundation, object. Still we have that XML from where we are defining the foundation of it. Otherwise, all the div objects are available in the front end system. Here also the same thing we can able to see. There are certain requirements which are coming up for the MDF, where certain entities are there. And if you want to deactivate or inactivate those entities because the customer is merging or stopping that entity from this particular effective date. If that is the case, how to go and inactivate it? For that, we should have an organization structure. First of all, we should also analyze these entities connected with what all objects which we need to it is connected. And for going for inactivation, that is not a big thing. We should not go from take actions. We should go to the insert new record. After inserting new record, you have a status here. You can make the status as a inactive and you can save it. The creation record will be there and we have an inactivation record will be there. Is it clear? Yes, that is the best practice. You should not overwrite it because by mistake, if we have over it make collection, we have made it inactive. We don't have any sort of backup also. And always make sure that you take a screenshot whenever you are making some changes to be in safe side in a real time. That is one thing because we also need to prepare a configuration document. Step by step. And that we need to sometimes. We have some ticketing tools. I told you we have some ServiceNow or Jira ticketing tool. From where the tickets are being generated and assigned there, we need to update the status and also we can upload the document also. It is good thing that if we are preparing a configuration document and we are updating it, that this is the process which we have followed. That is one thing because you are giving if you are just updating a final result in the ticket, the customer wants to know what you have done actually. What is the process you followed? It is always good to prepare the document and import it. And if I go to the business unit and if I take a record here, here you can see for the business unit also. we have a fields, standard fields are there. And the standard fields, you can see the start date, business area ID, area name, description, status. These are the standard fields, and we can also see every object. Again, it is associated with another object. There are two objects which are associated. These association, we are doing it in the configure object definition because that is the place we are defining that object. Got it? Maybe in SAP HR, you would have gone with the relationship between the object, right? In the organization management, the same thing which we are doing it in the success factor, where we are doing it in configure object definition, where we call as an association among the two objects. How to configure it? After the configuration, we can see these objects are associated. Whatever records you are creating, that record will be linked with that particular entity record. Got it? Now I'm just going into the another part, that is division. Let me take division. We have started code name status. Again, here you can see, this is the standard fields are there. And here you can see the association is there. And this association division is connected with associated with the business unit as well as the legal entity. How many ways you can do the association, that when that will start, when we will discuss more into the configure object. Similarly, you can see here, this is the translation. When I go here, you can mention the translation also in the other languages. That is one thing. And again, if I go to department, why I'm showing you? Because we should know each and every structure, most importantly. When I'm going, when you go into the department, we can able to see ID name description. You have a cost center also. You can see an association, and you have association division, legal entity, and the business unit. You can see a translation you have for department name and for the description. How it is coming? Because we have configured it in the configure object definition. That is the thing. These options are coming here. And it is always a best practice to take as a start date as 1/1/1900. Then one important thing. Whenever see in the future, whenever you are hiring or whenever you have created a pay component for manage of the pay structure, and if the pay component is not showing in the employee profile, the reason is that you need to map or link that pay component or that event reason to that particular country. Otherwise, it will not be showing. We have an option here. When we go to, let me go to country region, and suppose if I am selecting a country. Here I am selecting a country. When I go and select a country, we can see what are the. We can go and see take action. You can see what are the pay components which are linked to with this particular country. Got. This also additionally, I'm showing you because we sometimes what happen? You create a pay component and it is not reflecting in the employee profile. The reason is that after creating the pay component, also we need to link that pay component or map that pay component to that particular country. Otherwise, it will not be showing. We have to go to the country region and we need to link it. Here you can see the pay component. It will be, you can add that particular figure. Similarly, we have an event reason. Whatever action which we are doing that is called as an event. In SAP HR we call as an action. Here we call as an event. Every event will be having some reason. That is an event reason. That event reason also we need to specify here. For that particular country, I'm taking the country here. You can see for India. These are why I'm saying is that while doing the hiring or if you're performing some action, if the error is coming, that event reason is invalid, it is not a map with that particular country, then it will indicate that it is not linked here. A configuration is not done. Then you need to come to manage that country region and select that particular country. This is case for the pay component as well as for the event. Got? This is one thing and fine. And then if because I have already created a legal entity, you can able to go and create a legal entity. What I will do, I will show you how to go and create a department because legal entity I have already created. And start date. I need to select 1900. Department, ID name description. Let's take a department. And I'm just selecting. If I want any translation of the language, I can able to select. Otherwise, I can select all, copy this and I can paste it here. Cost center, also I have created it. You can see cost center also I have created. You need to create a legal entity. Then you need to create a business unit, division, department, cost center also. We need to go and create. Apprentices detail I'm not taking here. I can delete it. That is not required for division, legal entity business unit. You can see here. These are linked with associated with this department. Division, I can take this one legal entity business unit. And now you can see I have taken a start date, ID name, descriptions, stack cost, center, division, legal entity and the business unit. And I can click on save. Now I created a department. Any questions here? No, but we need to create the structure in this way that we need to create a legal entity first, then we need to create a business unit. When I create a legal entity, there is no association. If you go and see here, when I go and create a legal entity, there is no association. But after creating the legal entity, you need to create a location because in the location there is association with the legal entity. First, after creating the legal entity, you can create a location. And after that, when you go into the business unit, you can see I have associated with the legal entity. Got it? Same thing with the division, cost center and the department also. Got it? I won't be creating all the entities because it is a very straightforward process. You can go here. When I'm going and creating a legal entity, you select here. You can specify the data like 1900, code name, description, status, standard working hours, currency, country. Wherever you are maintaining the same one country, maintain the same country at everywhere and click on the same. Your entity will be created in the system. Same way, you can go and create a business unit also. Business unit start date also I need to take as len 1900. Then we can able to take as an area ID name description and there is an association with the business unit and the legal entity. Just give me a moment. There is some rule which is there. That is the reason it is triggering. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you tell me before going into the another method. By the time, let me remove this option. Why I have removed it? The reason was that here it was generating the automatic number. That also in the coming sessions, I will tell you how we can able to configure it. Once it is being done, then when I'm just refreshing it, it would have removed. That I just removed it. This is something like after doing the configuration. Don't keep the configuration like this. Otherwise it will hamper to the other participants or the traders. One method I shown you to the department how to create and we can able to go and search for the records also. Can you see here? These are the records which has been created for the business unit. Now for going and creating the bulk records, we can go to import. Import and export. Import and export data. There you have options. One is download template. One is import data. We will go and click on download template. For downloading template, you need to ask for the January content. January content means the MDF object, right? Here, what is the MDF object which you are doing? Department, right? Selecting the department and input the dependency as no. Because if any other files are there that will not be downloaded, we will go and click on download. Once it has been downloaded, let me see. Just renaming it. I think the screen is not visible, right? I will share my screen. Is the sheet visible for you? Here also, you can see two headers. Are they right? This header and this header. Everything is visible. Again, I have not discussed the XML, but I will go and discuss the XML also for you people. When we are defining the objects and the fields in the XML for foundation, every field will be having two things. One is the ID and one is a label. The ID and the code is the standard one. And the label is something which we are creating or we can able to customize it. The first part which is showing this ID, that is the standard one. And the second thing which is showing here, that is the label one. Both will be showing. Don't get confused here. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.